a minute. Now I'm in the middle.
Remember when your favorite TV show was firing on all cylinders? The cast chemistry was perfect, and then, boom, one of the stars just walked away? Sometimes they left for greener pastures, sometimes for more money, and sometimes because the set became more toxic than a Chernobyl picnic. Today we're counting down 11 huge TV stars who abandoned hit shows, leaving fans heartbroken and networks scrambling to fill the void they left behind. Number 11, Denise Crosby, Star Trek, The Next Generation.
We won't hurt you, but we must help them.
When Star Trek, The Next Generation launched in 1987, it had massive shoes to fill. The original series was a cultural phenomenon, and fans were skeptical that lightning could strike twice. The new crew of the Enterprise included Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard and Denise Crosby as Lieutenant Tasha Yar, the ship's security chief. Tasha was tough, capable, and brought a grounded intensity to a cast that was still finding its footing. She had a tragic backstory, escaping a failed colony world, and seemed poised to be a major player in the series. But behind the scenes, Crosby was frustrated. She felt her character wasn't getting enough development or meaningful storylines. While Picard and Data were getting the meaty material, Tasha was often relegated to standing at her station and saying things like, "security team to the bridge." It was like being hired as a chef and spending all your time washing dishes. Crosby made the difficult decision to leave after just one season, requesting to be written out of the show. The writers killed Tasha off in the episode Skin of Evil, where she's unceremoniously murdered by an evil oil slick creature named Amos. Yes, seriously, an oil slick. Her death was sudden, unheroic, and deliberately anticlimactic, which was actually the point. The episode was meant to show that, in space, death doesn't always come with dramatic fanfare. But for fans, it felt like a gut punch. Here was a character with so much potential, gone in the most random way possible. Crosby later admitted she regretted leaving so early. The Next Generation became a massive hit, running for 7 seasons and spawning multiple movies. She did return for a few episodes, including the fan favorite Yesterday's Enterprise, where an alternate timeline Tasha got a much better send-off. She also appeared in the series finale, All Good Things, giving fans one last glimpse of what could have been. Today, Denise Crosby has spoken candidly about her decision, acknowledging it was a mistake to leave a show that became such a phenomenon. She's worked steadily in film and television since, but Tasha Yar remains her most iconic role. It's a reminder that sometimes you don't know what you've got until you beam out of there. Number 10, Wayne Rogers, MASH, was more than just a sitcom. From 1972 to 1983, it was a cultural institution, blending comedy and drama in a way that television had rarely attempted before. The show followed the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War, and its ensemble cast included Alan Alda as Hawkeye Pierce and Wayne Rogers as Trapper John McIntyre. The two played best friends and partners in mischief, constantly pulling pranks while dealing with the horrors of war. Rogers and Alda had incredible chemistry. Trapper was the smooth-talking ladies' man to Hawkeye's wise, cracking idealist, and together they made the show's early seasons magic. But behind the scenes, Rogers was growing increasingly frustrated. He felt his character was being pushed to the sidelines as Alan Alda became the show's creative center. And he wasn't entirely wrong. As MASH evolved, Alda took on more writing and directing duties, and the show became more Hawkeye-centric. The final straw came when Rogers discovered he didn't actually have a contract with the studio. Due to a legal loophole, he was able to walk away after season 3 without penalty, and walk away he did, leaving the show in 1975 to pursue other opportunities. The producers were blindsided, and they wrote Trapper out with a hasty explanation that he'd been discharged and gone home. Hawkeye didn't even get to say goodbye, finding out his best friend had left through a note. It was brutal for both the character and the fans. Rogers immediately starred in the series City of Angels, a drama about a 1930s Los Angeles doctor. It was critically praised but canceled after 1 season. He followed that with House Calls, a medical comedy that ran for 3 seasons but never reached MASH levels of success. Meanwhile, MASH continued for 8 more seasons without him, becoming one of the most acclaimed shows in television history. The series finale remains the most-watched television broadcast of all time. Rogers later admitted he regretted leaving, especially the way he left. He missed out on being part of television history, and while he had a successful career, nothing ever matched the cultural impact of MASH. He passed away in 2015, but Trapper John remains beloved by fans as one half of television's greatest friendships. Number 9. McLean Stevenson, MASH.
She is becoming a folk hero.
If Wayne Rogers leaving MASH was a surprise, McLean Stevenson's exit was a full-blown TV earthquake. Stevenson played Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake, the easygoing, fishing-obsessed commanding officer of the 4077th. He was the bumbling but lovable authority figure who often got caught up in Hawkeye and Trapper's schemes. His dynamic with the rest of the cast, especially Radar, was pure television gold. But like Rogers, Stevenson felt he was being overshadowed by Alan Alda. He wanted to be a leading man, not a supporting player in someone else's show. After 3 seasons, he decided to leave MASH and pursue stardom elsewhere. The producers, likely still reeling from Rogers' departure, decided to make an example of Stevenson's exit. Instead of letting Henry Blake retire peacefully, they killed him off in one of the most shocking moments in television history. In the season 3 finale, Abyssinia Henry, Blake gets his discharge papers and says goodbye to the camp. Everyone's emotional, but happy he's going home. Then, in the episode's final moments, Radar walks into the operating room and delivers the devastating news that Henry's plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan. There were no survivors. The cast's reactions were genuine shock because the scene was added at the last minute, and most of the actors didn't know it was coming. It was raw, devastating, and showed that MASH was willing to depict the true brutality of war. Stevenson was reportedly furious about being killed off. He'd wanted the option to return for guest appearances, but that door was permanently closed. He quickly landed his own sitcom, The McLean Stevenson Show, where he played a hardware store owner. It was canceled after 1 season. He tried again with In the Beginning, a sitcom about a conservative priest and a liberal nun, canceled after 1 season. Then came The McLean Stevenson Show again, this time about a Chicago bar owner. Yep, canceled after 1 season. The pattern continued throughout the 1980s. Stevenson bounced from failed sitcom to failed sitcom, never finding the success he'd walked away from. Meanwhile, MASH went on to win 14 Emmy Awards and change television forever. Stevenson eventually made peace with his decision, appearing in interviews where he joked about his terrible luck with shows. He passed away in 1996, but his role as Henry Blake remains iconic. A reminder that sometimes the grass isn't always greener, especially when you leave a masterpiece behind. Number 8. Farrah Fawcett, Charlie's Angels. 1976 was the year America fell in love with Farrah Fawcett. Charlie's Angels premiered that fall, and Fawcett's Jill Monroe became an instant cultural phenomenon. That famous red swimsuit poster sold over 12 million copies, basically papering the walls of every teenage bedroom in America. With her feathered hair and megawatt smile, Fawcett was the breakout star of a show that was already a massive hit. The series followed 3 female private detectives working for the mysterious Charlie, and it was exactly what audiences wanted. Action, glamour, and 3 women who could kick butt in heels. Alongside Fawcett were Kate Jackson as the brainy Sabrina and Jacqueline Smith as the sweet Kelly. The chemistry worked, the ratings soared, and ABC had a certified phenomenon on their hands. But Fawcett wanted more. Despite being the face of the show, she felt constrained by the material. She wanted to prove she was a serious actress, not just a pretty face on a poster. After just 1 season, she announced she was leaving to pursue a film career. The producers were livid, and they sued her for breach of contract. The legal battle was messy and public, with Fawcett eventually agreeing to make guest appearances in seasons 3 and 4 to settle the dispute. Her replacement was Cheryl Ladd as Chris Monroe, Jill's younger sister, because apparently the Monroe family was just full of gorgeous private detectives. Charlie's Angels continued without Fawcett for 4 more seasons, but something was missing. The show never quite recaptured that first season magic. though it remained popular enough to keep going until 1981. As for Fawcett's film career, well, it started with a thud. Her first movie, Somebody Killed Her Husband, bombed so spectacularly that critics joked they should have called it Somebody Killed Her Career. But Fawcett was determined. She took on serious dramatic roles, eventually earning critical acclaim for TV movies like The Burning Bed in 1984, where she played a battered wife who kills her abusive husband. It was powerful, devastating work that earned her an Emmy nomination and proved she had the range she'd been fighting for. She continued working in film and television, earning more Emmy nominations and Golden Globe nods. Fawcett proved the doubters wrong, building a career on her own terms. Sadly, she passed away in 2009 after a battle with cancer, but her legacy endures both as a pop culture icon and a talented actress who refused to be pigeonholed. Number 7. John Amos, Good Times.
James, there is dignity in all work.
Good Times, which ran from 1974 to 1979, was groundbreaking television. A spin-off of Maude, itself a spin-off of All in the Family, the show focused on the Evans family living in a Chicago housing project. It was one of the first sitcoms to depict a working-class black family, and it tackled serious issues like poverty, unemployment, and systemic racism, with both humor and heart. John Amos played James Evans Sr., the hard-working patriarch trying to provide for his family while maintaining his dignity. Amos brought gravitas and depth to the role, balancing the show's comedy with real emotional weight. His chemistry with Esther Rolle, who played his wife Florida, grounded the series and gave it its emotional core. Together, they depicted a loving, struggling family in a way television rarely attempted. But tensions were brewing behind the scenes. As the show went on, the character of JG, the eldest son played by Jimmy Walker, became increasingly popular. His catchphrase, "Dynamite," turned him into a breakout star, and the writers leaned harder into his antics. The show started shifting from grounded family drama to broader, more cartoonish comedy. Amos hated it. He felt the show was perpetuating stereotypes rather than breaking them down, turning JJ into a buffoonish caricature. Amos wasn't shy about voicing his concerns. He clashed with the producers over scripts and storylines, arguing that the show was losing its way. The producers didn't appreciate the criticism. After 3 seasons, they fired him, killing off James Evans in an off-screen car accident. It was a shocking, brutal end for a character who had been the show's moral center. Esther Rolle was devastated by Amos's firing. She felt the show had lost its soul, and she left at the end of season 4 in protest. Without its 2 leads, Good Times floundered. Rolla eventually returned for the final season, but the damage was done. The show ended in 1979, a shadow of what it once was. Amos went on to have a successful career, most notably in Roots, one of the most important miniseries in television history. He appeared in Coming to America, The West Wing, and countless other projects. He later admitted that while he didn't regret leaving Good Times, he wished the situation had been handled differently. He and creator Norman Lear eventually reconciled, with Amos even starring in Lear's short-lived series 704 Hour in the 90s. Number 6. Valerie Harper, Valerie.
Bravo, bringing it. Thank you very much. It was...
This might be the only time in television history where a star got fired from a show that literally had her name in the title. Valerie premiered in 1986 with Valerie Harper playing Valerie Hogan, a working mom juggling her career and 3 sons. The show also featured a young Jason Bateman as one of those sons, showing early glimpses of the comedic timing that would make him a star. Harper was coming off her legendary run as Rhoda Morgenstern on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and its spin-off Rhoda. She was a beloved sitcom star with multiple Emmy Awards and a built-in fan base. Valerie was supposed to be her big return to series television, a vehicle custom-built for her talents. But by the 2nd season, things went sideways. Harper and her husband, who also served as her manager, felt she deserved a significant raise and a larger share of the show's profits, especially since her name was on the marquee. They demanded a salary increase to $150,000 per episode, plus a cut of syndication revenue. The producer said absolutely not, and negotiations turned nasty. When Harper refused to back down, the producers made a move that stunned Hollywood. They fired her and killed off her character in an off-screen car accident. Then they brought in Sandy Duncan to play the boys' perky Aunt Sandy and renamed the show The Hogan Family. It was the ultimate power move, basically telling Harper, "You're not as important as you think you are." The show continued for 4 more seasons without Harper, proving the producers' point that the ensemble could survive without its original star. But Harper wasn't going down without a fight. She sued for wrongful termination and breach of contract, and after years of legal battles, she won a multi-million-dollar settlement. She got the last laugh financially, even if her show went on without her. Harper continued working in television movies, stage productions, and... Number 5, Topher Grace, That 70s Show.
Did Luke Skywalker...
Oh, would you stop?
From 1998 to 2006, That 70s Show was basically required viewing if you had a pulse and access to a television. Set in Point Place, Wisconsin, the show followed a group of basement-dwelling teens navigating the greatest decade ever, at least according to their parents. Topher Grace starred as Eric Foreman, the sarcastic, skinny protagonist who served as the show's emotional center and narrator of sorts. Grace's deadpan delivery and everyman charm anchored a cast that included Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, and Danny Masterson. The chemistry was undeniable, with Eric's relationship with Donna, played by Laura Prepon, serving as the show's romantic through-line. For 7 seasons, the gang hung out in the Foreman basement, made fun of each other, and perfectly captured teenage life in the bell-bottom era. But by the end of season 7, Grace wanted out. He had movie ambitions, and That 70s Show, while successful, wasn't exactly winning prestige awards. He decided to leave the series to focus on his film career, gambling that Hollywood stardom was waiting just around the corner. The show wrote Eric off by sending him to Africa to teach. Yes, Africa. Because apparently that's where all sitcom characters go when the actor wants to pursue other opportunities. The producers tried to fill the Eric-shaped hole with Randy Pearson, played by Josh Myers. Randy was supposed to be the new cool guy, a record store employee who somehow infiltrated the friend group and started dating Donna. Fans hated him instantly. It was like watching someone try to replace the lead singer of your favorite band with a guy from a cover band. The chemistry was gone, and the show limped through its 8th and final season like a wounded animal. Grace, meanwhile, headed to Hollywood. He appeared in Traffic Ocean's 11 and eventually landed a major role as Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. Unfortunately, Spider-Man 3 was, well, let's just say critics weren't kind. His film career never quite reached the heights he'd hoped for. He's continued working steadily in movies and television, including playing David Duke in Black Klansman, but nothing has matched the cultural impact of That 70s Show. Grace did return for the series finale, giving Eric and Donna's story a proper ending, and in recent years, he's been reflective about leaving the show, acknowledging that walking away from a hit series is always a risk. The show's been in constant syndication ever since, and Grace remains beloved as Eric Foreman, even if he left the basement a season too early. Number 4, Michael J. Fox, Spin City.
Because your friends knew sign language.
Michael J. Fox was already a sitcom legend when Spin City premiered in 1996. His work on Family Ties had made him a household name in the 80s, and his film career with the Back to the Future trilogy turned him into a global superstar. Spin City was his return to television, and he came back with a vengeance. The show followed the chaotic lives of New York City's mayoral staff, with Fox playing Mike Flaherty, the deputy mayor, and the guy who actually ran everything. Fox's character was sharp, fast-talking, and capable of spinning any disaster into a win, which is basically a superhero power in politics. His comedic timing was as sharp as ever, and the show became a hit, earning Fox 4 Emmy nominations and 1 win. Behind the scenes, though, Fox was fighting a private battle. He'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 1991, but kept it secret from the public and most of his colleagues for years. By the late 90s, managing the symptoms while maintaining the grueling schedule of a network sitcom became increasingly difficult. The tremors, the stiffness, the fatigue, all of it made every day on set a challenge. In 1998, Fox made the brave decision to go public with his diagnosis, discussing it openly on The Late Show with David Letterman. He told Letterman he'd had Parkinson's for about 7 or 8 years, and while he'd managed it privately, the time had come to be honest. His candor and humor about the situation earned him widespread respect and admiration. By 2000, Fox knew he couldn't continue with Spin City. The physical demands of the show were too much, and he needed to focus on his health and his family. His final episodes were emotional, blending the show's signature humor with genuine heartfelt moments. When Mike Flaherty left City Hall for good, audiences knew they were saying goodbye to one of television's most beloved characters. Charlie Sheen stepped in as the new lead, playing Charlie Crawford, and the show continued for 2 more seasons. Sheen brought his own energy to the role, but longtime fans agreed the show was never quite the same without Fox. The magic he brought was irreplaceable. Fox went on to become one of the most prominent advocates for Parkinson's research, founding this Michael J. Fox Foundation, which has raised over $1 billion for research. He's made select television appearances over the years, including memorable guest spots on shows like The Good Wife, Scrubs, and a recurring role on The Good Fight. His legacy extends far beyond his acting career, though his work on Family Ties and Spin City remains essential viewing for sitcom fans. Number 3, David Caruso, NYPD.
I asked you not to do that, Andy.
Blue NYPD. Blue hit television in 1993 like a freight train. Created by Stephen Bachko and David Milch, the show pushed boundaries with its gritty storylines, complex characters, and yes, a few strategically placed bare backsides that had to see parents scrambling for the remote. David Caruso starred as Detective John Kelly, a brooding, intense cop with a stare that could melt steel and a moral compass that pointed true north even in the dirtiest precinct. Caruso was magnetic. His performance earned critical acclaim and a Golden Globe after just 1 season. NYPD Blue was a massive hit, and Caruso was the breakout star everyone was talking about. He had arrived, and he knew it. Unfortunately, he knew it a little too well. After 1 season, Caruso made a decision that would become legendary in Hollywood for all the wrong reasons. He demanded a massive salary increase, reportedly asking for $100,000 per episode, plus a cut of syndication profits and movie roles on the side. When the producers refused, Caruso walked. He was convinced he was destined for movie stardom and that NYPD Blue needed him more than he needed NYPD Blue. Spoiler alert, he was wrong on both counts. His departure came in the 4th episode of Season 2, Dead and Gone, where Kelly resigns from the force. The show didn't miss a beat, bringing in Jimmy Smits as Detective Bobby Simone, who many fans argue was an even better character than Kelly. NYPD Blue went on to run for 12 seasons and became one of the most acclaimed cop dramas in television history. Caruso's movie career, meanwhile, crashed and burned faster than you can say career suicide. His first film, Kiss of Death, in 1995, received mixed reviews and made little impact at the box office. His follow-up, Jade, also in '95, was savaged by critics and bombed commercially. Suddenly, Hollywood wasn't so interested in the guy who walked away from a hit show. Caruso spent the late '90s in career purgatory, taking smaller roles and watching NYPD Blue collect Emmy after Emmy without him. It wasn't until 2002 that he found redemption with CSI Miami, where his character, Horatio Kane, and his signature sunglasses moments became a cultural phenomenon. The show ran for 10 seasons, and Caruso finally got his vindication, even if it took him almost a decade of humility to get there. Number 2, Suzanne Somers, Three's Company.
Well, it's okay. I'm calling long distance.
Three's Company was ABC's sitcom juggernaut from 1977 to 1984, a show about 3 roommates sharing an apartment where the main guy had to pretend to be gay to satisfy their landlord's outdated moral code. Yes, really, that was the premise. The Equities were weird. Suzanne Somers played Chrissy Snow, the sweet ditzy blonde whose innocent charm and comic timing made her one of television's biggest stars practically overnight. Somers had incredible chemistry with co-stars John Ritter, who played Jack Tripper, and Joyce DeWitt, who played Janet Wood. The 3 of them turned a silly premise into must-see TV, with Somers becoming the breakout star. Her popularity exploded, and she was everywhere, magazine covers, talk shows, specials, you name it. But by the 5th season, Somers and her husband-manager Alan Hamill decided she deserved more money, much more. She was making $30,000 per episode, while John Ritter was pulling in $150,000. They demanded equal pay, which honestly wasn't an unreasonable request, considering she was a massive draw for the show. Unfortunately, the network wasn't having it. ABC and the producers rejected her demands, and negotiations turned ugly fast. Somers started missing tapings as a bargaining tactic, which did not go over well with her co-stars or the network. The producers retaliated by essentially writing her off the show, banishing Chrissy to Fresno to care for her sick mother. For the rest of season 5, Somers literally phoned in her appearances, calling Janet from Fresno in brief, awkward scenes at the end of episodes. The situation became personal. DeWitt and Ritter felt blindsided by the contract dispute and reportedly stopped speaking to Somers. The rift lasted for decades, with Somers and Ritter not reconciling until shortly before his death in 2003. She and DeWitt didn't patch things up until 2012, nearly 30 years after the fact. Three's Company replaced Somers with Jenna Lee Harrison as Cindy Snow, Chrissy's cousin, and then later with Priscilla Barnes as Terry Alden. The show continued for several more seasons, remaining in the top 20, but it never quite recaptured the original magic. Something was missing without Somers' Chrissy. Somers, for her part, reinvented herself brilliantly. She became a fitness icon with the Thigh Master, that piece of exercise equipment that dominated infomercials in the 90s and made her a fortune. She also returned to sitcoms with Step by Step, which ran from 1991 to 1998, proving she could bounce back from Hollywood exile. Sadly, Somers passed away in 2023, but her legacy as both Chrissy Snow and a woman who stood up for equal pay remains strong. She bet on herself when Hollywood said no, and even though it cost her Three's Company, she built an empire anyway. Number 1. Shelley Long, Cheers.
$10 I'm gonna owe you in about 5 minutes, all right?
Coming in at number 1 is Shelley Long, whose departure from Cheers remains one of the most debated exits in sitcom history. Cheers premiered in 1982 and quickly became the show where everybody knows your name, even if the ratings started slow. Set in a Boston bar, the series followed bartender Sam Malone, played by Ted Danson, and the colorful regulars who made the bar their second home. Shelley Long played Diane Chambers, a pretentious intellectual waitress whose will-they-won't-they relationship with Sam became one of television's greatest romances. Diane was neurotic, cultured, and completely out of place in a dive bar, which made her perfect. The verbal sparring between Sam and Diane crackled with chemistry, and their relationship kept audiences coming back week after week. For 5 seasons, Sam and Diane were the heart of Cheers. Their breakup, makeup, proposal, and breakup again cycle was television gold. The show won multiple Emmy Awards, and Long herself took home the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series in 1983. By the mid-'80s, Cheers was a certified phenomenon, Thursday night must-see TV in its purest form. But in 1987, at the height of the show's success, Long dropped a bombshell. She was leaving. Her reasons were multifaceted. She wanted to spend more time with her newborn daughter. She wanted to pursue film roles, and she felt she had explored everything she could with Diane's character. The producers scrambled to craft an exit worthy of one of television's most iconic characters. The season 5 finale, I Do, Adieu, was bittersweet perfection. Diane got an opportunity to write a novel in Los Angeles, and after much soul-searching, she and Sam decided to split up. She promised she'd be back in 6 months, and Sam agreed to wait. They said goodbye at the bar, in a scene that had viewers reaching for tissues. It was romantic, devastating, and somehow exactly right for 2 people who could never quite make it work. Cheers continued without Long, and here's where things get interesting. Most shows would collapse without their female lead, but Cheers brought in Kirstie Alley as Rebecca Howe, a tougher, more neurotic character who brought fresh energy to the series. The show didn't just survive, it thrived, running for another 6 seasons and earning even more critical acclaim. Long's film career had mixed results. She had success with The Money Pit in 1986 and Outrageous Fortune in 1987, but she never became the movie star she'd hoped to be. She worked steadily in film and television, but never found another role that resonated like Diane Chambers. In 1993, Long returned for the Cheers series finale, giving Sam and Diane's story one last chapter. It was perfect closure, with Diane pitching Sam on a new life together, and Sam ultimately realizing he belonged in the bar. Their final scene, where Sam says he has to take care of the bar because it's his life, was both heartbreaking and somehow satisfying. Looking back, Long's departure was probably the best decision for both her and the show. Even if her film career didn't pan out as planned, she got to end on a high note, spend time with her family, and return to give fans the goodbye they deserved. Cheers proved a great show can survive losing a lead if the foundation is strong enough, and Shelley Long proved that sometimes walking away from success is the bravest choice you can make, even if Hollywood doesn't give you the fairy tale ending you expected. And there you have it, 11 huge TV stars who took the gamble and walked away from hit shows. Some found success elsewhere, some spent years regretting their decisions, and some proved that sometimes the grass really is greener, especially when it comes with a multi-million-dollar settlement.